What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the greatest combat sports and culture show of the entire universe, the Fight Podcast. Look, it's been a minute, but I was not going to miss this, all right? We have arguably the biggest boxing match, the biggest, honestly, combat sports match, I'd say, in the last 10 years. You can easily say, if we're talking about boxing over the last, let's say, easily the best boxing match or the biggest boxing match since Usyk and Tyson Fury. You could even go back, even say, if you want to say Mayweather and Conor McGregor. These are huge boxing fights with huge implications, and I'm telling you, it is going to be amazing. So this weekend, as I'm sure all of us know, we have Canelo Alvarez against Terrence Bud Crawford. Terrence Crawford is essentially moving up 3 weight classes. Yes, he had his one fight at 154 pounds, but he is moving up in weight. So he's moving up in weight. He's facing arguably the face of boxing, Canelo Alvarez. And look, I'm hyped. I'm hyped. A lot of people, this is one of those mythical fights that a lot of people at one point in time said wasn't even going to happen. But it's here. Canelo at one point in time didn't want to fight. He said, what do I have to gain for this? At one point in time, Terrence Crawford looked at this fight and said, what do I look like moving up 3 weight classes to fight, dude? It's never going to happen. But between Turkey Al-Sheikh, between, Bill Haney getting in Terrence's ear, no matter which way you slice it, we are absolutely here now. And honestly, the combat world has come together to really to celebrate this match. Dana White and the UFC, or should I say TKO Boxing, have come over and they're actually promoting this fight card. I'll be honest with you guys. In terms of that, it's one of those things that I really looked at, and I think a lot of people, myself included, when I found out Dana White was going to be the lead promoter for this card, I was expecting the card itself to be a little bit more dynamic. It's one of those cards that when you look at it as a diehard boxing fan, look, the co-main event I really am looking forward to. You have obviously Fernando Vargas Jr. versus Callum Walsh. That is a boxing fan's delight. You know what I mean? If you really know the sport, you understand both guys are going to go out there, both knockout punchers, 2 undefeated guys. That is going to be really, really fun to watch. Somebody's going to sleep in that one. That arguably might be the best fight of the night. But then you have, on Terrence Crawford's team, you have Lester Martinez against Mbili. That is another great fight. So in terms of diehard boxing fans, yes, the card itself should be extremely entertaining. And for the Netflix audience, I think when you look at it, we're going to say, all from top to bottom, it was a fun card. But the card, in my personal opinion, is really missing some of that star power. It's really heavy on the star power at the top. And that is the thing that I think that if we look at it, I was really expecting Dana White to kind of grab by the horns and get some star power in there. Regardless, boxing has been boxing this year. It has really been exciting. And even today, the press conference literally just went off air not so long ago. Max Kellerman, who I absolutely adore. I'm so happy that he's actually back in the helm, doing what he loves to do, being the voice of boxing. He tried to say that the UFC is bigger than boxing. And don't you guys know me? At one point in time, I absolutely was on that bandwagon. But over the last 3 to 4 years, I think we would be liars to say that MMA has been better than boxing. I think boxing has had the biggest fights. I think it has had the most compelling fights. So to sit there and thank goodness Canelo corrected him. Boxing is boxing, and people are going to continue watching boxing regardless. And when it boils down to it, that is the biggest of combat sports. But I was expecting more star power. I was expecting Dana to go out there and actually give us a little bit more. But regardless, I am still really looking forward to this fight. This fight is on Netflix, September 13th. And it is arguably going to be the biggest fight, the biggest watched fight since Ali, I think it was Ali Frazier or something along those lines, because that's the last time these big type of events were on free, like, network television. I think they were back on CBS back in the day. So it's going to be really interesting to watch. It's going to be on Netflix. Everybody's going to have the opportunity to watch it. It's going to live on there. We've seen this obviously with Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. We've seen this with Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor. There have been some big cards and matchups on here. I think when they first started doing cards and things like this in live sporting events on Netflix, yeah, it was a bit wonky. It was kind of shiny, if you know what I mean. But I think they really did go out there and get the they got the bugs out, as they say. So I'm looking forward to that. And I know that this card from top to bottom is going to be a lot of fun, and I think it's going to go off without a hitch. So and let's get into the main card and what we really care to watch. Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford is going to be an incredible matchup. Obviously, we're talking about two individuals that have consistently been at the top of the game. We were talking arguably this fight is arguably for the who is the best of this generation. A lot of people have always looked at Canelo Alvarez. He is the money guy. Canelo Alvarez, arguably, I'm not even going to say argue. You can argue with your mama. Canelo Alvarez is the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. He has moved up 3-time, weight champion, 2-time undisputed. I mean, this guy dominates at 168, moved all the way up to 175 pounds and beat the great Sergey Kovalev. This guy is incredible. He went on a stretch, that initial stretch that he went on to become undisputed at 168 pounds. Man, I don't care what nobody says. People say he dug Benavidez, which he probably did. You can say all the things he had the tainted taco meat, which we know he did, and his team is real dirty with that one. But when it boils down to it, man, Canelo Alvarez has always been a dog. He's been a professional for the last 20 years. He turned, pro when he was 16 years old because nobody wanted to smoke. This dude is literally that guy, and he's been that guy forever. At 23 years old, he had the opportunity to step in there with arguably the greatest of all time in Floyd Mayweather and gave him a fight. One of the judges, had it a draw. I have no idea what that was about, but he went in there, he competed, and he learned a lot. And from that moment, Floyd looked at him in his face and told him, yo, Canelo, you got the juice now. He let him know that you got the juice. And essentially he went out there and let him, he was the money man after Money Mayweather. And you see him, he has the myriads. He's looking fly. He's coming into the press conference with no shirt on and the jacket over the top. I mean, Canelo is that dude. And he can back it up. He goes out there and fights. And then let me just even bring up his record and everything. I mean, obviously, Canelo Alvarez, 35 years old. This dude's record is insane. 63-2-2 with 39 knockouts. And obviously, the people who ended up beating him was Dimitri Bivol, arguably one of the best of today, top 5 pound for pound, top 3 pound for pound, even depending on who you ask. And obviously, Floyd Mayweather. On the other hand, we have Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford is your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. He's that type of guy. He's the guy who goes out there. He's a dog. He came in unlike Canelo Alvarez, who was so heralded. Canelo Alvarez is the guy that everybody anointed as the next guy. Terrence Crawford, on the other hand, was the guy that nobody actually wanted to give a chance because he was too good. Everybody wants to talk about his record. Everybody wants to look at him and say, oh, he ain't fought nobody. Look, it's not that he ain't fought nobody. He makes them fools look like nobody. He is one of the greatest fighters I have ever watched. And here's the thing. I ain't going to lie to you. I'm one of those guys that picked against him. I've picked against him more than once. And when I've looked at it, I've said, every time he proves me wrong. And it's interesting when you see him, he's almost taking the villain role in this matchup. He comes in wearing all black. He got his braids frizzy, his beard is bearding, and he is going out there and again, he's embracing, he's loving the booze. He's always been somebody that has embraced the hate and and people not believing him. I mean, he even has a story. His first title fight, he goes overseas to fight for this title, and his mother said, you ain't gonna win it. And he went out there and knocked dude out cold. He has always been doubted. People didn't think he can become a champion. He became a champion. People said he wasn't going to end up being a multiple division champion. He did that, and now he's moving up multiple weight classes to take on Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds, literally 2 weight classes higher than he's ever competed, and 3 weight classes higher than where he is known to be the best. So that is something that when we look at, regardless, is going to be incredible. And again, let's look at his numbers. Crawford is a little bit older. He is 37 years old, soon to be 38. The difference is he doesn't have as many miles as Canelo does. His record is 41-0 with 31 knockouts. He's a guy that if we're looking at his resume, and he has, I mean, he was undisputed at 140 pounds. He was undisputed at 147 pounds. He moved up and won a title at 154 pounds, and now he is trying to become 30-time undisputed at 168 pounds. I mean, what he is trying to accomplish and what he has accomplished, if he's able to pull this off, again, I said it earlier, but you can argue with your mama, you're going to put this dude on the Mount Rushmore of boxing. He is arguably that good if he goes out there, defies all odds, and beats Canelo Alvarez. So again, let's go through the numbers a little bit more in depth. Obviously, Canelo has more rounds in him, 520 rounds. Crawford to 245. Let's look at stuff that, I mean, average rounds per fight, 7.8 for Canelo. Crawford 5.9. They knock fools' heads off. Let me see. Average. Let me see. Punches. This is what I want to talk about. So, in the last 5 bouts, average punches thrown in the last 5 bouts, Canelo is at 399. Crawford is at 369. Average punches thrown per round in the last 5 bouts, Canelo 33.2, Crawford 46. And this is an average punches landed during the fight, 161 versus 99, but Crawford's been getting more knockouts. Canelo, on the other hand, in terms of knockouts, hasn't knocked anybody out in the last 7 fights. The last fight that he knocked somebody out or he finished somebody was Caleb Plant. That was a fantastic fight. And a lot of individuals look at it and say, this is the best that we got. That was the best Canelo that we've seen in a long time. And Canelo actually has even gotten a lot of hate if we're looking at it in terms of the William Skull fight, his last fight, where he regained his undisputed status at 168 pounds. William Skull did run. And I'm not going to lie to you guys and say William Skull didn't run. But one thing that he did, if we look at it, I don't care what anybody says. You can look at that fight and yes, he ran, but he was still landing punches. And if we're actually looking at it in terms of X's and O's, and look, no, I'm with you guys. I absolutely think that Canelo Alvarez should have won that fight. I am not saying it was a robbery in any sense because of the way that he ran. But Canelo didn't do great. He didn't look great. His feet were stuck in the mud. He wasn't cutting the ring off. He was doing things that a traditional boxer or somebody who is as pedigreed as Canelo Alvarez wouldn't do. We go back in time when we look at Canelo Alvarez when he was, at 160 pounds fighting, the Miguel Cottos of the world, fighting Danny Jacobs of the world. He was going out there. The head movement that he displayed against Danny Jacobs was otherworldly. My man was going out there, the way he moved, the way he slipped punches back and forth. Oh my God, thing of beauty, chef's kiss. It was a thing of beauty. Since he moved up to 168 pounds, and on that run, he didn't show the same type of versatility in his defense. He was more of a seek and destroy fighter, and he has been that ever since, landing the harder punches, probably because he has moved up and he's fighting outside of his weight class, which also shows his greatness. Canelo Alvarez is an incredible counterpuncher. He's a counterpuncher that can move defensively and has incredible power. He is one of those guys that has fought essentially at his weight, wherever he walks around at. And he's still knocking these dudes who are like 200 plus pounds when they step in the ring with him. So maybe he changed his style a little bit so that he could go out there and move a little bit with, and it's more of a seek and destroy. I'm going to beat their arms up. I'm going to beat them up and I'm going to win that fight this way. Let's just jump over to Crawford. We go on that side. He's somebody that obviously he knocked everybody out that he faced when he was at welterweight at 147 pounds. But when he moved up, the one time we saw him fight at 154 pounds, north of 47, a lot of people, I honestly think Crawford 184, which I don't think is that close. Obviously, that's a pretty dominant win. But a lot of people said that, he didn't knock out Madrimov. And Madrimov is somebody that, he was herky-jerky and people were trying to say all these things. So there's a lot there, right? So a lot of people are saying, they're both slowing down. They're both not looking, as good. So maybe they're facing each other at the right time. Now, how does Canelo win this fight? One thing that I've always said about Terence Crawford is Terence Crawford gets hit way too much. He's somebody that I've seen him get buzzed. He got buzzed at 140 pounds by the tiny but former champion, and at the time was extremely good. Yoris Gamboa. We saw him get buzzed by Mean Machine. So we've seen him get buzzed before in his career. Granted, every time he got buzzed, he attacked, and he ended up finishing that fight. But that is my problem with how Terrence Crawford fights. If Terrence Crawford gets hurt, he's coming to get you. He comes all like defense be damned. And just like Jerome Boots Ennis, my man's getting thumped left and right. He can get hit with the straight right hand. And one thing that Canelo Alvarez does extremely well is land that huge right hand. Terrence Crawford, yes, he's a switch hitter, but if he is predominant when he's trying to hunt somebody, he's fighting southpaw, which is left-handed. What benefits what is the best weapon against the southpaw if you're a conventional fighter like Canelo Alvarez? That is a straight right hand. Beware of that straight right hand. So that is how he can easily, I can see a scenario in which is early in the fight and Terrence Crawford gets caught and then he becomes reckless because he wants to get his get back. And there is a world where Canelo Alvarez can counterpunch and knock him out. That is absolutely something that a lot of people have said. And I've heard, other analysts go out there and state that. And honestly, watching the fights, I went back and I've watched each of their last 5 fights. And if you're looking at those fights, you can absolutely see those flaws in Terrence Crawford's game. Now, one thing that Terrence Crawford recently stated in one of his interviews is that he said that he was at a point in time that once he knows a guy can't hurt him, he said he got to get back to boxing. Actually, Sean Zattel actually I think said this story. Shout out to Sean, but he said that Terrence Crawford at the end of one of his sparring sessions said, "You know what, man, I got to get back to boxing," because everybody's like, "Damn, you're so fast." He's like, "Yeah, I got to get back to boxing. I just didn't care." Talk about a dog, bro. This dude is such a dog, and I mean that in the best way possible. Let me tell you a little bit about Terrence Crawford you don't know. And this is what I'm saying. He has one of the things, both of these men are mentally strong, unlike anything else. But Terrence Crawford is a dude, man. He defied all odds, was shot in the head, and drove himself to the hospital, and ended up fighting soon after. I mean, dude is a beast, all right? How does he win? Again, people look at it. They look at it. Oh, he's going to box and move, kind of like a Floyd Mayweather or what Erislandy Lara did, or something along those lines against Canelo. If you actually watch Terrence Crawford fight, that's absolutely not what he does. That's not how Terrence Crawford fights. He's a dog. He is a boxer puncher, the best version of it. He's going to move a little bit. He's going to cut some angles, but he's going to be right there for Canelo to hit, and vice versa. So I can see him winning this fight in a couple different ways. I can see him cutting angles. And honestly, I can see him almost overwhelming Canelo. Canelo he fades late in fights. Canelo, will hurt you early in the fight and then kind of coast if he can. And also, if Canelo gets frustrated, which I can absolutely see Terrence Crawford doing, if he gets frustrated, we saw this in Canelo's last loss against Dimitri Bivol. He gets frustrated and he kind of just checks out. Like, you know what? I lost this one, but and you see the frustration on Canelo's face. If Terrence Crawford go out there and frustrate Canelo, where the point that Canelo's not hurting him with shots and he is starting to get off, I think it can be an absolute long night for Canelo. That's how I see each one of them. So let's get to the brass tacks. Who do I see winning this fight? Look, man, Canelo, there is a reason this man is the face of boxing. He is the greatest Mexican fighter of all time, like I've already stated. He has power in both hands, and I don't know if you saw, even though he lost that fight, I don't know if you guys saw the arms. Dimitri's Bivol arms were swollen. He and anybody who is not physically capable, he just absolutely runs through. Canelo Alvarez, is an amazing counterpuncher. He has a great left hook. He has a great uppercut. He has a great right hand. And he's somebody that has that one-hitter quitter. And I'm telling you, when I look at this, and that is the exact reason why. Now I'm picking Terrence Crawford. Yo, Bud's gonna get his ass. I don't care what y'all say. Yo, Bud Crawford is gonna go out there and shock the world. There's something I told you guys before, bro. I am not betting against this dude ever again in my life. When I see him, when you see him before the fight, look, check this out. I can't show a lot of it, but I'm gonna show enough of it. All right. This was a little bit of the stare down that happened just minutes.
Incredible, boys. Thank you.
I cannot wait. It is going to be an incredible fight. Bud is ready, but I'm telling you, I think he knows something. Hearing him, he knows something that the rest of us don't. They game plan. This team is fantastic. They have so many incredible guys on that team. I mean, the work that he's gotten on Lester Martinez, I know is great. Look, I'm not discounting the work that Canelo Alvarez has done with Boots Ennis, Drawn Boots Ennis. That to me tells me that this is going to be a great fight. I think this fight is going to be so much better than people think. I think this might look like a Triple G Canelo fight. But I look at it, I think Terrence Crawford is somebody, like I stated before, Canelo Alvarez fades towards the end of fights. Terrence Crawford only gets better. I cannot wait for this fight. I'm telling you guys right now, if you have money, it's almost 50-50 right now. But if I'm putting my money on it, I'm putting my money on the underdog, which is Terrence Crawford. And every time he's been the underdog, he's gone out there and got that dub. I can't wait for this fight, guys. I love it. Thank you guys so much for watching, man. This is the Fight Podcast. I will be coming back. I am back. Better than ever. You guys are going to see me. I will be talking about this. I'm going to be breaking down so much more. And we actually have a new sponsor, man. I can't wait to really break this down. I'm going to actually talk about a little bit, man, the bump serum. Yeah, I'll show you guys that. See, boom, look at that. The bump serum. This is actually a shaving kit. It is made specifically. It is a Black-owned company made by this incredible brand, all natural ingredients. It is a kit that actually stops shaving bumps. So even this said, there's a 3-step process designed to help men of color significantly reduce razor bumps. I have used this. It is the real deal. I'll start putting the links in here and I'll start posting about this more. But do yourselves a favor when this comes out. Check out their social media, the bump serum. Check it out. It is beautiful packaging. Even when you open it up, the instructions are actually right there for you as well. So you can see they have the shaving cream. Not only you have the shaving gel, you have the aftershave as well as a face lotion that goes with it. This stuff is great. It smells incredible and it's actually non-toxic. It's healthy for you. So check that out. I'll have the link in the bio. All right. With that being said, I am SERG VICENTE. Follow me on all social media platforms at the SERG VICENTE. Follow the Fight Podcast. And love y'all. We'll see you soon. I'll see y'all next time right here on the Fight Podcast. Peace out.